I'm so proud of you. We've made it to module 5. Yeah, let's have like a celebration dance. We're almost there, right? We're going to be getting into the therapies that work, right? And there are two core evidence-based therapies. There's several. There are two that we use in the Resilient Stars process. The first is called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. And the core principles about psychological problems are that these problems are based on faulty or unhelpful thoughts, ideas, preconceptions, schemas that are in the mind, right? Unhelpful ways of thinking about life based on learned patterns, right? So we go back to that origin, that family of origin, where that's our fundamental for learning. People can learn better ways of coping to relieve symptoms as well as to manage effectively. So we help with relieving symptoms of depression, anxiety, uh, mood disorders, right? It's good for post-traumatic stress, postpartum, right? So it's really, really effective. And it's really about getting into that schema, right? The core beliefs that we hold so dear that we got from environments that were probably really, really harmful to us. But we hold on to these schemas nevertheless, and we relive these schemas until something just doesn't feel right anymore. Something just feels like, no, no, no more. Enough is enough. And when we decide enough is enough, we start looking toward books, places that could help us, therapists, coaches, right? We start to say, no, I'm going to give myself a chance. I deserve the best life possible. My child deserves, my children deserve the best life possible. And how can I do that if I'm not living my best life possible? Right? It's a constant give and take and renewal. So we look at about the core beliefs about yourself, the future, others, and then the behaviors, thoughts, and cycles they feed each other. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I acting this way? What caused my behavior? What triggered me? Sometimes we're aware of what triggers us, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we have the experience of the Johari window where other people see things about us that we do not see about ourselves, which is precisely why hiring an expert who's really good at what they do gives us the insight we need to succeed. All right. So how does it work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. It's a collaborative effort between the clinician and the client. And, I have a virtual therapeutic space being shown in that picture. It's exploring the patterns, the automatic thoughts. When someone stops to think, what were you automatically thinking? It's paying attention, being in the moment, being in the present, feeling, how others receive your clients and being able to very gently and honestly and directly give that feedback after first building the security that's required for the therapeutic process. I'm sensing my throat's coming on again, guys. Now, typically, if you have a situation where, you have pretty good insights about yourself, you have pretty good coping skills, you're just feeling a bit stuck, 8 to 12 sessions typically could work for you. Now, if you are more than just a little bit stuck, you're feeling really stuck, there are many things on your plate, 8 to 16 sessions would work. And if it's a severe situation, 16 or more sessions would work. Up to 2 years if, it's chronically severe, and we have check-ins for 2 years, 16 plus sessions, and then check-ins for 2 years. Right? So it's evidence-based. It's highly efficient. It's effective. I love seeing the process work successfully over and over again. Let's look at the second modality, motivational interviewing, MI. Now, the core principles about psychological problems for motivational interviewing is recognizing incongruence. There's an ambivalence to change. There's like a, should I change? Should I not? Do I need to change? Is this really a problem or is it not? The clinician has to have deep empathy, a deep sense of being able to put themselves into the shoes of the other person and roll with the resistance, not to necessarily fight it, but to roll with it. Roll with it, saying, okay, so you think that this relationship isn't very good for you, but you still want to stay. Okay. Right. And so you're repeating what they're saying. You're saying you're literally the person literally hears, yeah, I'm saying that this relationship isn't good for me, but I'm also saying that I want to stay with it. And in time, bringing that to the person's level of consciousness, they say, well, why am I staying in it? What can I do about this? And they start to activate, and this is where we have to understand Prochaska and De Clemente's stages of change, right? The ambivalent stage, is where they're like in the pre-contemplative, they're like, people might say that I need help with my anger, but I don't see it. I just get what I want. If I have to use anger as a tool, I would use it to get what I want. And so there are a lot of benefits to holding on to old patterns. They've worked for us in some ways, which is why they're still there. They've been reinforced. And when we decide that we're going to get some new habits, we are challenging ourselves. We're challenging old, demons, as the spiritual folk would say, right? Or we're challenging our old selves. We're evolving, and it's going to take a lot of trusting the process, one step at a time. Okay? Supporting self-efficacy. Here we come back with that word, supporting a person's belief in themselves, right? Pulling on their strengths, pulling on past wins to show evidence of future wins, that it's going to come, it's going to take place. Keep consistent. Now, how does this work? How does MI work? Firstly, we have the counselor plays a more influential role, right? They are not just merely listening, as in, the typical counseling process. They are actually actively saying, now, wait a minute, didn't you literally just experience such and such? Didn't you succeed at such and such? So tell me what makes you think you can't succeed in this new arena, right? They adjust to the resistance, but they address the ambivalence. Now, adjusting to the resistance means, like, for example, when I just started out my career under the supervision of Dr. Hutchinson, he would tell me to observe everything from clients coming late. Why did they start coming late to sessions? And typically, they would start coming late if we were addressing things that were uncomfortable for them, addressing the loss, the pains. And so the resistance, just observing, just being able to say, hey, I noticed you started coming late to the sessions, right? Bringing it again to their awareness, but not pressing them too much. And then addressing the ambivalence, so you say that you want to be in this process, you want to change, yet you're still doing a lot of the habits that you said that you don't want to do. And exploring that, what's going on? Right. And it's, the safer the person feels to be able to express that, which is why, when I'm coaching parents, parents are stuck in a difficult situation with their children and they're finding, well, my child isn't making the progress that I want to see, I usually, in that case, would switch from the child to serving the parent because the parent is the source of the problem and they don't realize it. And I would coach the parents on how to approach their children with less judgment. No, it does not mean that you're condoning any wrong behaviors. And we're going to get into that in the next module. So sit tight. We're going to get into that a little bit more. Again, that deep empathy and belief in a person's autonomy that they can do it. It's like watching a baby learn to walk. I was at work when my daughter took her first steps, but fortunately her father captured it on video. And when a child's taking their first steps, you can't hold their hands, right? They're taking their first step and they might fall and they would say, oh, and they're gonna get up again, and we're gonna believe that they're gonna get up. We're not gonna say, oh my goodness, this child will never get up. They fell and they'll never get up. No, fall 7 times, get up 8. Again, building on the strengths, building on the strengths. Many times we beat ourselves up over our weaknesses, but really, really great leaders would say it's a balance between recognizing your strengths, building on your strengths, and mitigating poor weaknesses. Sometimes you might have to accept, look, I simply cannot do this particular task. I'm going to hire out for it, right? So knowing what you're capable of, what you could do well. I'm a great public speaker. I love it. I get energy from crowds. So I'm using this platform to share some of that energy and to inspire you to keep going. Finish strong, finish what you start, get the most out of the experience. Brief interventions for motivational interviewing typically takes about 4 to 6 sessions. Okay. And now this is what I was telling you about for parents, but I'm gonna hop off because I don't want to be more than 8 minutes. I have a feeling that our this particular module is going on for more than the time that we agreed upon indirectly. Okay, so I'd see you. So we're gonna hop back on what parents and caregivers and teachers could do. We don't want you to become therapists, but you'll benefit from some of the tools that we have to share. See you soon.